zone, and yeah, the reference points just you won't be able to see them on the first lap because of the amount of cars, so it can be chaos. Tyres wise, Scotty starts on the hards with Milan on the mediums, Ben Brash follows Scott on the hards, and Taylor Downey follows his teammate. Chaz and Wayne start on the hards with JT Cod on the mediums. Bab is on the hards with Tuck representing his own team on the mediums. Blue and Ben Brash, not Ben Brash, Blue and Brad start on the same tyre on the hards, with Matt Stubbs separating Brad from Jay on the mediums. Jay and Hilly go on the hards with Riddler down to Morby on the mediums. Dave Riley doing what Dave Riley does, he goes on the softs. That's what I like to see from Dave, with Mac and Cheese ending off the order on the hard tyres. He's looking to have a very strong race, going from last to first potentially. Scotty's going pretty quick on this formation lap, you know. Like, he sort of raced off. There's a massive gap between Chaz and everyone else. Chaz is like the middleman. Yeah, but everyone's just dropping everyone here. Bab has left a massive gap. So yeah, it's slightly awkward for the guys there. I don't think you can be reported on a formation lap for being too far behind, so I think he's okay. Although, if he can, I think he is 10 car lengths away. So, let's hope that's not a rule. I don't know what the rule is anymore. We have a lot of rules. And, yeah. Right, Scotty parks his car in the P1 slot. A lot of disqualifications, as Chaz, Ben Brash and JT Cod all get one. Mac and Cheese, the final man, to line his car up, as Milan says dive bomb incoming. I'm very scared that he's said that personally. Oh god, that does not fill me. Why are we 50 years away from the grid? Oh my days, lads. And the grid is messed up. I can't see anything right now. It's 2, 3, 4 red lights, 5 red lights, the 7th round of the 3rd edition of PGR DTS, and we're go. It's a pretty good start for everyone. Ben Brash tries to go around the outside of Milan. Milan goes wide. Ben Brash makes a little bit of contact with Ben and Milan. And two of them try and go side by side. Ben going on a very aggressive start on the hard tyres. Ben down the inside of Milan, and he's got the move on. They're still going side by side. Milan stays ahead for now. They're both using their ERS to try and stay with Scott at the same time. But here comes Ben Brash still for Sanka. Ben Brash at turn 4, down the inside of Milan. They're still going side by side, and it looks like Milan finally gets ahead. A very aggressive start from Ben Brash at the bottom. Mac and Cheese is making up positions, with Riddler also going ahead of Hilly. They got side by side through the long left-hander. Riddler just stays ahead. Hilly stays alongside him, and that is Riddler ahead into P14. A good move from Riddler on the medium tyres. He's got Blue behind him on the hard, ahead of him on the hard tyre, and as Bab has dropped quite a few positions here. He's in P11. I'm not sure if he had a terrible getaway there. As someone is trying to look for a move, that was Famous Wayne. I think he's just looking at his breaking point, to be honest. So a very good start for the guys at the front. It looked very clean. As JT Cod is having a look, he stays behind. So Milan wants to... Oh, Max Stubbs gets ahead of Bab here. As Max Stubbs down the inside, he gets Bab, and that is Blue looking for Bab as well. They got side by side. Blue turns on his ERS and gets ahead of the TIG driver. Bab now under pressure from Riddler, who stays behind. And that's the Revolution car and the Spartan Phoenix. Hilly and Mac and Cheese go side by side. These two collided in USA, Texas. And Mac and Cheese stays ahead, but he's gone very wide. Hilly's just going to get past him. He says, thank you very much. Oh, there's a bit of contact. Mac and Cheese will not be happy about that. But a little bit of contact, and that sees Hilly through into P15. I can't speak today. Oh, there's a car coming in. Oh, it's the Spartan Phoenix of Mac and Cheese. Mac and Cheese picks up wing damage, and they all got very close. But up front, Milan, this is his first dose of DRS he's going to get. The SRT Cupra on the United car. He's gaining on him. Is he going to get him into turn 3? He's going to stay behind. But can he get the launch he needs here? And it looks like he has on the medium tyres. Scotty is not using his ERS, he's just going to let Milan dump. And Milan gets ahead. On lap 3, we have a new leader. It's the SRT Cupra of Milan. And the other SRT Cupra gets overtaken at turn 4 by Famous Wayne. So Wayne moves himself into P6. So very impressive qualifying for Taylor Danny, but unfortunately in the race it's not going his way. Oh, I thought he was getting hit from behind there from DSL Brad, who's had a very impressive start. Brad putting the pressure on Taylor Danny here. This is one of our closest fights. And JT Codd is right on the back of Chaz, the Porsche and the Power Grid car. Getting very, very close here. As that is Brad finally getting past Taylor Danny. He was behind him at the start of the lap, but he gets ahead of the SRT Cupra. That's actually on a hard tyre against the mediums as well, so that's a big move for Brad's race. And it looks like Tuck is putting Taylor Danny under pressure here. Oh, I thought he was looking at it then. Tuck has 100% ERS. So, oh, that's Brad going very wide here. And here comes Taylor Danny. These two have been fighting quite a lot in the opening laps. And Taylor Danny is just going to get past after that Brad mistake. And he gets the inside line and he gets ahead of Brad. But Brad goes for the switchback. And they go side by side into the next corner. Turn 5. Brad is going to try around the outside. He's on the hard tyre. Oh, they get close. Side by side the SRT Cupra and the Power Grid car. With Taylor Danny getting ahead. But here comes Tuck. Oh, Tuck backed out. That is smart driving from Tuck. Otherwise, it could have been the end of his race there. As DSL Brad is going to turn on the ERS. He turns on his DRS as well. And into turn 1, he's looking to get the move. DSL Brad down the inside as Taylor Danny keeps it around the outside. Oh, a bit of contact there between Tuck and Brad. And Scotty and Milan down the inside. Scotty goes, I missed it. But Scotty takes the lead again, but Milan is going to come back at him. He uses the ERS. And Milan gets ahead of Scott here. But Scott keeps it around the outside. They're still going side by side, the two of them. And Milan is ahead going into turn 5. Ben Brash will be watching this with close eyes here. He's on the hard tyres. Hello, VB Thomas. Thank you for the advice. I do appreciate it, as I am struggling with my throat right now. It is very cold today. I've not been feeling too well, but it doesn't matter about how I'm feeling. It's about how these guys are feeling. Ben Brash putting the pressure on Scott as well. Ben Brash has opened a small gap to JT Codd has opened a small gap to Wayne as Morby picks up the first 3-second time penalty of the race. As Ben Brash goes very wide at turn 1. He goes really wide, and that's going to invite JT Codd to go for P3. JT Codd from P5 to P3 in the first in one lap, but Chaz keeps his nose down the inside and he gets a horrible exit, and Ben Brash is going to come back at him. Ben Brash and Chaz, and Ben Brash is going to get ahead, and that's and Scotty as well. Scotty's also going to take the lead here, and these 5 are fighting for the lead. Alright, I'm okay now, I'm okay. I've sorted it out. I had a good cough there. Right, Milan chasing down Scotty. So these 5 have got a little gap to Famous Wayne, but Wayne will naturally catch up with these guys fighting. 1.2 the gap is for him, but he does have Tuck behind him. If Tuck sort of fights Wayne here, they're both going to lose time, so they sort of got to work together. Looking down at the rest of the grid, Bab is right at the back of Blue. Yeah, he had a little look in turn 1, but he's gone very wide there. That's not going to help him at all. As I keep missing the fights here, as Milan goes down the inside of Scott, and JT comes. Oh, JT comes round. So, Ben Brash has gone into the back of him. Ben Brash has gone into the back of him, and that's put him down to P5. JT Codd and Chaz go side by side here, and Scotty is going for Milan at turn 4. The 2 championship leaders go side by side constantly every lap, 7 laps. And they're still going side by side. Scotty is just going to be behind at turn 5. So Milan stays just ahead. Scott in P2 with JT Cod in P3 after that contact, so he's kept his position. Ben Brash loses his position to Chaz. Ben Brash also picked up a time penalty. That's yellows in sector 2. That's the revolution car of Hilly. Hilly's gone flying off. So is that contact? And there's a lot of movement. What is going on here? Someone's round. I can't tell who it is. It's Wayne. Wayne is round. Wayne comes into the pits. I'm not sure what's happened there. I don't know what's happened there, but Wayne was round. Ben Brash comes in for a wing change. I'm not surprised at that after the heavy contact he had with JT Cod. But yeah, Wayne was sort of by himself, and Tuck is serving a 5-second penalty. Brad gets ahead of Taylor Danny once again, but Taylor Danny is coming back at him. But Brad is going to use his ERS to get ahead. And here comes, Matt Stubbs was having a look there, and now Jay goes very wide. Does Jay have wing damage? He doesn't. He's just gone very wide there. Very Jay-like. Jay goes side by side. Well, he's not even side by side. He's ahead of Blue. Jay in P8. He's driving very, very well here. As I don't know what battle to watch it. We'll watch the top battle because that's the most important one right now. The two championship protagonists. As VB Thomas ain't happy with me, fair enough, he can not be happy with me. As Scott is chasing down Milan for that P1 slot. I just saw Blue get ahead of Jay, and Bab also getting ahead of Jay into DRS zone as Scott stays behind for turn 3. He's going to try at turn 4. And Bab now gets ahead of Blue as well. Oh, bit of contact, and Bab is completely off there. It looked like his front end just did not turn. And that allows Jay to go straight past and says thank you very much. And Bab moves, and Riddler tries to get a position here. These guys are losing vital time. 2 of the battles in front. 3 seconds the gap is from Jay to Taylor Danny. Out front, Scott has... Did he take the lead? I don't even know. They used to be fighting so much, but it's lap 9 of 36, so we're almost a third of the way through. We probably are a third of the way through. We are a third of the way through. 9, 18, 20, no, we're not a third of the way through. We're a quarter of the way through. So we're somewhat the way through. I don't know what I'm on about. As Bab gets ahead of Blue once again, and Taylor Danny gets ahead of Brad again. These two are having a brilliant fight, and I will say Max Stubbs running P5 for Aphrodite. He is cooking as well. Taylor Danny stays ahead of Brad as Ben Brash sets the fastest lap of the Grand Prix. P16 for Ben Brash currently. Obviously he has without wing damage he picked up. As Milan and Scott still going for it. Milan around the outside of Scott. A bit of contact it looked like. But it looks like Milan gets ahead. And Bab goes ahead of Jay. Very, very, very entertaining race we have here. As Ben Brash gets past Hilly. Hilly on the 9 lap old hards. Obviously he had that moment in sector 2 where he was on the grass. Not too sure what happened there. But yeah, unfortunately it's not going his way right now. With the front lot so close between each other. Chaz right in the back of JT Cod. Scotty right in the back of Milan. Scotty having a good ERS advantage over most of them. But Chaz on 95% ERS is sitting P4. As Scotty opens his DRS here. His rear wing. He's doing well to keep the hard tyres with the medium guys. And he stays behind in turn 3. He's doing this quite a lot. He wants to get it done in turn 4. Turn 4 is a safer overtaking spot, and it's the last DRS zone of the lap. So that's the place where to make the move, in my opinion. As Max Stubbs has been passed by Taylor Danny. Max Stubbs still running P6. Very solid driving from Max right now. He's got DSL Brad behind him. As Blue is right in the back of Jay, who's flashing his ERS. So Jay is struggling with his battery management here. And Blue will look to try and get him here as Jay is out of Bab's range. of DRS. But going down the main straight here, these 4 guys again going for the lead as Jay comes into the pits, and that leaves Riddler right behind Blue. Riddler's going to try and get him, but he's going to stay behind just for now. This second DRS spot could potentially go for it, but Scotty's gaining. Scotty's going to go side by side for Milan, and he backs out once again, and Ben Brash picks up a 3-second time penalty. It's just not going Ben's way right now. He's struggling out there, unfortunately. And Scotty is coming once again for Milan, and he stays behind. I think he sort of just wants to get Milan on edge. He doesn't really want to stay ahead. He just want to keep Milan on edge and potentially force him into a mistake, braking late, going onto the gravel, something like that. And that just, because obviously these two are championship rivals, he sort of wants Milan to have some sort of bad luck here, as the Spartan Phoenix car is getting pressurized by Morby on the medium tyres compared to Dave Riley's softs. Dave Riley still running on these soft tyres from the very beginning of the race, as the Riddler is right behind Blue. So when will Riddler go for it, as Pilly picks up a 3-second tyre penalty, P15 for him currently. But let's see what Scott does here. Scotty is going to go side by side with Milan once again, and he backs out once again. Oh, but he's almost gone into the back of Milan. He's almost gone into the back of Milan, and is JT going to get the run? He's not going to get the run. Chaz also just stays behind. But yeah, that could have ended really badly, and Scotty's going to go for that turn 4. He uses his ZRS for the first time in a long while. Down the inside, Milan tries to keep around the outside, and Scotty says, no, you can't do that. And that is Scotty into P1 again on lap 13. So these two are having a brilliant battle. And behind we also have a brilliant battle as Morby gets ahead of Dave Riley into turn 4. Dave Riley trying to switch back, but unfortunately he just doesn't have the grip. And that's actually Ben Brash right behind both of them. And saying that, Brad has got past Max Stubbs now. But yeah, Ben Brash against Morby here. This is the fresh tyres. Oh, Ben Brash all over the place on power. But he's trying to heat them up, and Bab picks up a 3-second time penalty. Oh, and that's actually Morby defending. I thought he's coming to the pits, and Ben Brash should get Morby now with his ERS and DRS. That's Ben Brash into P14 as DSL Brad gets ahead of Taylor Danny, and Chaz is got side by side with JT Cod. This is the battle for P3. This is the podium places. They go side by side. They both have DRS. Who breaks later? Chaz breaks later. JT Cod keeps it around the outside. Chaz gives him the space. He has a little bit of rear end movement, which does not help him at all on power, and JT Cod stays ahead. So Ben Brash is P12 currently. His gap to the lead is 15 seconds, so I think he will inherit the lead, but obviously he'll have much older tyres, so that's not going to help Ben at all. Ben could be on the 2-stop right now. We will see. 15 laps into the race, we have not had a safety car. Very impressive from the lads. As Milan is coming in, he's going to go ahead of Scott into turn 3. And that's the SRT Cooper getting back ahead. But is Scott going to try and get him at turn 4? These two exchanging positions every lap here. Oh, that might have been me. That probably was me. Scott, oh, he had a look. But he stays behind. At the same time, these boys want to force mistakes out of each other, but they don't want to make mistakes by themselves. So like Scott there, if he stuck his nose in, he probably would have been round. So yeah, he has to be careful. He needs to manage his championship charge that he's attempting to do. He's trying to do the double, obviously. Last year's champion, well, not year, last season's champion. JT Cod and Chaz are they're sitting in a good place. Obviously, they were fighting each other. And that's brought DSL Brad, Taylor, Danny, and Max Stubbs back into the conversation. But yeah, they're driving well. As Scotty had a look at turn 1, I think he was just looking at his braking zone, similar to what Wayne was doing earlier in the race. And yeah, Scotty he's not using his ERS as much because obviously he knows right now the position is sort of pointless. You want to do it when you're on your second stint and you're just towards the end of the race. That's sort of when you want to get the move done. But he's going for the move now. ERS on, DRS activated, and down the inside, Scott EMT takes the lead once again in this race. We need to have a little counter how many times the leaders have switched positions, because they have been on it. So this is now a 7-car train from the leader down to Max Dubs, with Bab and Blue and Riddler chasing down the guys here. This is actually a close fight here between Blue and Riddler. Riddler on the medium tyres against Blue on the hards, and Chaz gets put. Oh, there's lots of people going wide there. JT Cod came into the pit, so Chaz, I think, tried to avoid him, and Brad is going to get the position here. Brad is going to go ahead of his teammate. I think it's that little confusion on the pit entry where JT Cod came in. Chaz was not expecting it, so he had to just fully run off track at turn 9. And Milan is going for Scott again. Milan is going to get ahead of Scott. So when does Milan actually pit? Because JT Cod was also on the mediums, so they're on the same strategy, as he really struggled to put power down there. So JT Cod is going to come in at P10, 7 seconds behind Ben Brash. So Ben Brash will inherit the lead. Whether he could keep these mediums going to the end is a different question, but he will inherit the lead, as Dave Riley gets ahead of Morby after Morby pits. So the two Power Grid cars, I think P3 and 4, they will be undercut by JT Cod obviously, but they will have mediums towards the end, same as Scott. Oh, and that's Milan coming in, and Scott had a similar issue where Milan came in and he had to slam on the brakes, and that might invite Chaz to get a good exit, but Chaz is going to stay behind now. These three on the hard tyres sort of have to work together here. The SRT Cooper is still out of Taylor Danny. This is Milan's teammate obviously, so we will see what he does. And Riddler also comes into pits. He was behind Blue. Blue is also pit, so he's quite early on the mediums here. He wants to get this undercut done. Will he come out ahead of Riddler? He will come out ahead of Riddler, who was just behind him, but he's also got Tuck and Jay, who are both pit ahead of him. Milan coming out just behind JT Cod. So these two will be battling on while they warm up their new hard tyres. Scott will probably come out behind both of these guys, but on the mediums. So he loses track position, but he gains the better tyres. When will this United car decide to pit? Same as the two Power Grid cars, who are having a very splendid Grand Prix here. Power Grid looking like they're going to score the most points in this race, as we see the SRT Cooper of Taylor Danny coming to the pits. So they both got DRS here. Chaz sort of needs Brad to push here, because Chaz and Brad are now in the fight for the win. So if Chaz can get ahead of Scott and hold Scott up so Brad can get him, they can work together here, and it probably can go a 1-2 to Power Grid, as Scott goes very wide at that corner. And Chaz has turned on his ERS. He's possibly going for it, and he could be listening to me, who knows. Chaz listens to whoever he wants, and he goes down the inside of Scott, and that's Chaz, our new race leader. The first time we've had a different leader that's not Scott or Milan. Lap 19, Chaz leads the race, and now Brad is going to try and get Scott. Obviously these guys fighting will improve the gap that Milan has, but JT Cod has actually got ahead of Milan. Oh no, he was already ahead, but Milan is putting the pressure on JT Cod. So the gap to these guys is 14 seconds, so they will be very far ahead. JT Cod getting the gap down to 3 seconds as Chaz comes into the pits, and Scotty stays out for another lap here. So Scott going for a very big overcut. He wants to get the fresher tyres at the end of the Grand Prix. Obviously there's safety cars that could come out, and that will probably help Scott, but right now he's the only one who's staying out, along with Bab in P2. And two SRT Cooper cars go into turn 1 ahead of the two Power Grid cars now. Taylor Danny goes wide there and he picks up a penalty. So Taylor Danny gets back ahead of Brad, and so does Matt Stubbs. Matt Stubbs, who could be looking for a position here, but he stays behind. So the race is on here as Milan goes back ahead of JT Cod. So Milan inherits net P2. Ben Brash is net P1, but I think he's got a pit. So basically, Milan has inherited net P1. He's 2.4 out of Ben Brash as well, so he is gaining on Ben Brash rapidly. So Scott decides to pit on this lap now. So he will have 16 laps till the end of the Grand Prix on those medium tyres. Good distance for the medium tyres. Same distance that Milan went on his tyres, as JT Cod is going to continue to put the pressure on Milan. So Scott comes out behind both of these guys, as there's yellows in sector 2. Is that Morby? That is Morby. Not too sure what's happened there, but yeah, Morby, that did not help him. And Scott is coming down well down the order. He comes down into P9. He has to overtake 8 different cars in order to gain the race lead here, as Blue gets ahead of Jay. So he's got his teammate behind him, so that'll pretty much mean that he won't be getting attacked from behind. So it's just full push for Scott here. Milan is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 cars ahead of him on the hard tyres, obviously. So the race is on for both these guys. Milan is coming up to Ben Brash now. Ben Brash on 13 lap on mediums. He's not struggling, but he doesn't quite have the pace against the fresh hard tyres of Milan. JT Cod will see a real opportunity here to get his first ever win in the main DTS. Currently sitting P4. Scotty picks off Matt Stubbs at turn 9. So that's Scotty up to P8. He's got the 2 power grids, the SRT Cupra, and Bab does come in. So he's got a Porsche, and then it's Milan. And down the inside, Taylor Danny around the outside. They go side by side. And Scotty's going to come into this. He's going to get on the grass and everything. They go 3 wide for a slight second. And Scotty looks like he's going to get both of them. Down the inside, Brad is still there. Brad gets a 3-second time penalty for exceeding track limits. I think he went on the curb too much. And Scotty gains both positions there. Taylor Danny goes ahead of Brad as well. Brad makes a little collision with Scott. And that allows Max Stubbs to try and get ahead. Max Stubbs, a bit of contact between the two. Max Stubbs gives him the space on the exit, and he's going to get ahead. So that's Max Stubbs into P7. Scotty goes up from P7 to P5 in 1 lap. He's now chasing Chaz, JT Cod, and Ben Brash. JT Cod is getting held up by Ben Brash, which is letting Milan run away. This is massive for Milan. Ben Brash doing him wonders for the championship. He's holding up Milan. He's holding up JT Cod for 1.5 seconds, and JT Cod cannot find his way through. And Ben Brash has gone wide there, and JT Cod will finally get him on the exit of the corner. So the gap has now been extended to 1.7 seconds. That's massive for Milan. That could be race winning for him. It will definitely be race defining for him. As the next up for Ben Brash will be Chaz, who's 2.3 behind him. So the battle's behind Brad versus Taylor Danny. This has been going on all race long. We've seen Scott and Milan going at it all race long, and it's these two as well. And DSL Brad down the inside of turn 4. Taylor Danny is going to keep it, but he stays behind. Matt Stubbs also in the back of this. Matt Stubbs, what I will say, he's been in this fight as well. I said Brad and Taylor have been fighting all race. He's been involved in this fight. He's been taking the lead out of both of them and getting ahead. So all 3 of these guys really well driven right now. As Blue is coming into the back of this, as Taylor Danny picks up another 3-second time penalty, which is not going to help him. As a lot of movement towards the back of the grid, with Jay coming into the pits. Jay pit early on 11 lap on mediums. He comes into the pits. With it looks like Max Stubbs is going for it on Taylor Danny. He's gaining on him. He turns his ERS back on down the inside. He's going to try it. And it's good racing from the 2 of them. They go side by side. They give each other space. Max Stubbs once again gets DRS, but so does Taylor Danny. He gets it off Brad. And the order stays how it is. Towards the back of the grid, Bab goes ahead of Riddler. Bab pitting very late onto those medium tyres. He has much fresher tyres than everyone else on the grid, apart from Jay and Hilly, who are the back of the grid together. two goats. Oh, three goats. Wayne, Hilly, and Jay all at the back of the grid. No, yeah, I called them goats on the back of the grid, but it's just who they are. Hilly, Jay, and Wayne. Three of the household names in PGR. Three iconic names. That's like putting Ronaldo, Messi, and Neymar together. I called Jay Zinedine Zidane once. That was in DTS as well. So yeah, Jay gets a lot of compliments from me. Scotty is now putting the pressure on Ben Brash, both on the medium tyres. Scotty having 13 lap fresher tyres than Ben Brash does. Ben Brash will defend because obviously this is his championship rival. It's not really gone Ben Brash's way this season. Last season he was picking up constant P2s, but yeah, it's not really going his way right now. Scotty executes a beautiful switchback, I will say. Obviously the tyres do really help, but that switchback was really nice. Milan has extended his gap to 2.7 seconds. He is cooking. He is really cooking. Milan is right now. What a season Milan is having. What the improvement we've seen on him. He used to be Scotty's teammate at the very, very beginning of this. He got transferred out for Ben Brash. Then he went to Spartan Phoenix. And then from Spartan Phoenix, he also got kicked out. He went to Croft. Croft, unfortunately, disbanded. What a legendary team that was. But unfortunately, they disbanded. And now he's found his home at SRT Cupra, where he's leading this race by 3.1 seconds. As Chaz is putting the pressure on JT Cod. Chaz is going to get ahead of JT Cod. That's P2 for Chaz. The Power Grid car moves ahead of the junior tier champion. And Scotty is right on the back of this. Just behind them, Brad and Taylor Danny are still going at it, with Blue actually getting involved in this fight now as well. Blue will see that the three in front of them do have penalties, which will definitely help him gain positions towards the end. Scotty, oh my days, he was close. I was looking at the timing board. He got very close to JT Cod, and Scotty is going to turn on his DRS here. He's got a bit more straight line speed than JT Cod does here. As Ben Brash picks up a 5-second time penalty for speeding in pit lane. It's just not going his way today, is it, Ben? Oh! Whoa. What just happened there? I don't even know what happened there. But I don't know what happened. I think JT Cod had a little bit of lag and Scotty wasn't expecting it. That was very strange. But Scott gets ahead of JT. And now Scott is chasing on for Chaz. Chaz, who's pushing on for Milan, as Taylor, Danny and Brad are still going for it. They go side by side. Taylor, Danny doesn't have the ERS. Brad has slightly more. Down the inside, Brad goes. And they go side by side once again at turn 4. They give each other the room, and that's Brad ahead once again. P5 for the Power Grid car. Yeah, these are sort of our two fights here, as the rest of the grid are sort of separated. As the gap goes down to 1.8 from Chaz to Milan. Chaz really does see a race win here. He can see that race win right in front of him. It's that SRT Cupra on 10 lap old hards. But this fight for P5 is very, very intriguing. You got 4 cars separated by pretty much 1 second. And Scotty is ahead of Chaz. I did not expect Scotty to go for it, but Scotty is ahead of him. I thought they were going to work together, two of them. But that's P2 for the United Racing car. Chaz is going to try and come back for Scotty. He's got the ERS advantage. As saying that, Max Stubbs gets ahead of Taylor Danny, but Chaz is going to stay behind. So, 8 laps left of this Grand Prix. 1.4 seconds is the gap from Scotty to Milan. Chaz just in behind. Milan wants Chaz and Scotty to fight as much as possible. These two fighting will help the SRT Cupra car sort of drive away. And behind this, similar position where Brad wants the two cars behind, the two hard runners of Max Stubbs and Taylor Danny to fight. Max Stubbs picking up a position against Taylor Danny. Sorry about that again. As Ben Brash finds himself going ahead of Egolf Hazard. Ben Brash is on the fresh mediums. He's looking to get Riddler at the end of this race. Not long left to go, And Chaz is having a look, but he stays behind. Ben Brash sets the fastest lap of the Grand Prix, and Scotty is in DRS, so it's not really worked out for Milan here. Scotty in his DRS zone, so these two will be fighting it out. And ahead, Brad is gaining slightly on JT Cod, with Mac and Cheese picking up a 3-second time penalty. Mac and Cheese unfortunately not making progress from his quali ban position, as Bab also joins this fight for P5. He's in the DRS train, and Wayne getting ahead of Morby for P15. The JT Golf car, it's not really gone his way either. Something happened at the pit lane entry at turn 9. Unfortunately I didn't catch it on camera, but yeah, I think someone may have hit Wayne in the back, or he may have hit someone in the back coming into the pit or something. So so Scott has now caught up to Milan. This is his first chance to overtake the SRT Cupra, as Blue gets ahead of Taylor Danny, and Taylor Danny stays ahead, and that's going to invite Bab to get a move. But at the front, Scotty takes the lead. Scotty takes the lead on the medium tyres. I completely missed the move, but it was down the inside off turn 3, and Milan is chasing him back down. Milan does have the ERS advantage compared to Scott, but Chaz behind wants to get Milan as well. He's on the medium tyres. It's 2 laps of younger tyres than Milan, so yeah, Chaz will try and get punchy here. As these 3 were fighting, Bab did get ahead of Blue, who got a bad run after going side by side with Taylor Danny. And at the back here, Morby and Hilly going side by side into turn 3. Hilly going around the outside, and he gets ahead. Hilly now chasing down Jay for P16, as Morby stays behind as well. So what will Milan do here? Milan is going to use his ERS. He's going to try and get Scott, but Scott is sort of pulling away here. 5/10 to gap. But he sees Scott flashing, and he knows that he has no ERS, as Brash gets ahead of Riddler. That's bent up into the top 10 now. 30% ERS for Milan, 43 for Chaz, with 11 for Scott. The championship is very close between these guys. 54.5 points between Scott and Milan here, as Jay gets ahead of Dave Riley. They go side by side. Dave Riley goes wide, and that allows Hilly to go through. And Max Stubbs is now chasing Brad down on these hard tyres. Brad, he hasn't been able to pull away here. And obviously behind Brad, he has all these guys behind. But Matt Stubbs looking at a potential P5 right now. What a result that would be for the Aphrodite driver. That could even save him from relegation. You never know. As Milan is chasing down Scott. He turns on his ERS. He sees Scott flashing once again, and he's going to stay just by. Oh, Chaz is going for it. I did not see Chaz down the inside there. Chaz down the inside of turn 3. He goes side by side with the SRT Cooper car. They go side by side. Power Grid versus SRT. Who's going to get ahead? Chaz brakes later. They go. He's got the inside line. They still go side by side, the 2 cars. And still they go side by side. Milan's got the apex at turn 5. Chaz makes a little bit of contact, and Milan stays ahead. He defends well against Chaz there. And Scott builds a 6/10 gap there. He would have hoped for a bigger gap, but yeah, maybe more fighting and that gap will open up for him. As they start lap 33, not long left of this race now. This race has sort of flown by with that amount of overtaking and racing going on. So Scotty stays in the lead, as Milan gains on him with the DRS, and Chaz also. They all, after that fight between Milan and Chaz, they're all similar ERS now, as Milan gets a little rear end movement at turn 3, as Max Stubbs right on the back of Brad. And actually there's another fight going on here with Wayne and Jay, the 2 generational talents of PGR, as they were once known as. Oh, as Jay had a very big moment there. That's going to invite Wayne to go down the inside of Jay. The JT golf cart, and here comes Hilly as well. Mac and Cheese retires in the pits, and Hilly goes down the inside of Jay as well. All three of these guys are in a party together. I do not know what they're saying, but Jay is going to get ahead of Hilly, and he stays ahead of Hilly. And is he going to go full Wayne? He stays behind. He got very close to the back of Wayne, and here comes Hilly. Hilly's going to pick up the pieces. They're still going side by side. The two going admins. And Jay stays ahead of Hilly. As Mac and Cheese's car is going to come on to the track. And Milan going down the inside of Scott on lap 34 out of 36. And Scott got all over the curb there. And that is not going to help his run through turn 4. And is Chaz putting the pressure on here? Chaz is going to just stay behind, as Mac and Cheese's car is very, very far on track. As Morley picks up a 3-second time penalty here. Currently sitting P18. Max Stubbs and Brad are going for it. Max Stubbs down the inside of Brad, a bit of contact, and that's going to allow Bab to go through. Bab going side by side. He cuts through them. He goes a bit on the grass. Bab down the inside of Max Stubbs now. These two used to be former teammates. Max Stubbs going wide. And they're still going side by side, the two of these guys. Brad gets ahead of Max Stubbs, but Bab inherits P5. And behind Taylor, Danny looking to put the pressure on. And Ben Brash getting ahead of Blue at turn 9. He sends it, and he goes off track in the process. That'll be a track limits penalty. And look at the grip Ben Brash has here. Ben Brash has so much grip, but he doesn't have the RS. And up front, is Scotty going for it on Milan. Lap 35 out of 36. 2 laps left of this race. Is Scott going to play the DRS game with Milan here? Is he just going to sit behind him and let Milan just give him a tow for the rest of this lap? And Brad gets ahead of Bab, and someone's gone wide. They've all gone wide there. That's Ben Brash off. Ben Brash went off track, and DSL Brad gets back ahead of Bab. So that's Brad into P5, Bab into P6, Matt Stubbs into P7 with Blue in P8. Blue and Ben Brash potentially making contact. But this is the battle up front. The championship leaders and Chaz. Chaz has lost a lot of time in that middle sector though. So it's between these two. Milan and Scott. One final lap. One final shootout. Scotty versus Milan. SRT Cupra against United Racing. Into turn 1. Milan goes slightly wide. Scotty's going to get DRS here. He's going to gain on Milan. He's going to keep gaining. We've seen Scott do the dummy move into turn 3 many times, and he's going to do it again. He's going to go for it at turn 4. Scott, none of them really get a good exit there, but Scott has the DRS, he has the ERS. His light is flashing for fuel. He is low on fuel. Scott down the inside on the last lap of Milan. Down the inside, contact between the two. The United car gets ahead, and it looks like the United car is going to do it. Scotty for his new team, his second race with this new outfit. Around Austria Red Bull Ring, 36 laps these two have been going at it. This guy has a 54 point lead on Milan. That's going to get extended by 8 points. He's going to be ahead by a significant amount in the Drivers' Championship, and it's Scotty MT for United who's going to win the race. Scotty is the race winner around round 7 of Spielberg. The Red Bull Ring is gonna be Scotty's playground, and Milan in P2. He threw everything at Scott with Chaz in P3. What a race from Chaz. JT Cod drove brilliantly. Unfortunately, his strategy did not go well. Max Stubbs, round of applause for Max Stubbs. P5 for him. That is a sensational performance. P6 for Blue with Bab in P7, Riddler in P8 with Brad in P9. These guys were having a brilliant fight. Taylor Danny in P10 with Ben Brash not having the race he would have wanted in P10. But it's Scotty MT's day. It didn't go his way in Bahrain. He had to pit very early on in the safety car, and that led him to do a 2-stop race. He didn't quite get the positions he wanted. He finished P5 in that race, I believe. But today, he showed up. He got pole. He had a will-to-will battle every lap with Milan. And there he is on the top step of the podium. It's Scotty MT on that top step in Spielberg, looking at that trophy. And it means so much to him, apparently. And he puts a thumbs up to his new team. That's his new engineering crew. He loves life right now. But Milan, a brilliant race from Milan. He done sensational to push Scott to the very end, especially on those hard tyres at the end. Scott gave me wing damage. No way! Oh, no way! Chaz picks up wing damage. Is that lap 35 potentially? Lap 35 where you lost to 1 second? But I'll quickly run through the order. NMT, Scotty takes the W. Milan in P2 with Chaz in P3. The Porsche of JT Cod picking up great points for himself again and his team. Matt Stubbs P5 with Blue in P6. Bab in P7 with Riddler in P8. DSL Brad in P9 with Taylor Danny in P10. The Sankov Ben Brash, unfortunately, he was on the 2-stop. It didn't really go his way. Tuck also did a 2-stop with for Revolution Racing P12. Egolf has a P13. Wayne P14. Jay, Dave Riley, Hilly, Morby in P18. And unfortunately, we lost one man, and that was Mac and Cheese in the pit lane. What a race. As Hilly does not like Austria.